You've launched a lot of careers, like a lot of copywriters I've even worked with, they closed their first client when working with you. Like you launched them from no client to getting their first client. How do you do that when you don't have results?
My favorite way to do it, go through their funnel, sign up to the list, look at the ads, see what emails they're sending, and then find something specific that you can improve. So you could either sort of do a whole bunch of different tips, and it's like, hey, I think you could fix this, fix this, fix this. Or I just like to go deep on one thing. For example,
I think a lot of people, they say they don't like outreach, but in my experience with outreach, I can send 5 cold emails and probably close a client from it. At this point, it's a pretty good ratio, you know? But that's because, what do you think the number one reason that copywriters struggle to close premium clients is?
I think most of it is just following bad, outdated, generic advice. To be frank, if I'm super honest, I think the biggest reason is...
All right, so here I am with Sean Ferres, the man, myth, the legend. Dude, you've helped hundreds of copywriters at this point to close premium clients and change their lives. You've helped like 70, it's changed recently, right? Just before I saw the one previously, it was like 71, and you just said there's another person that's also hit 6 figures now.
Yep.
So
Tiny just came in like a wrecking ball, 11K a month in like 1 month, and just been smashing ever since. So.
And you've also helped some people to hit 7 figures, right?
Yep. 5 people so far.
Am I included?
If you're included, then 6.
Yeah, 6. There we go.
6. Nice.
Yeah. So there's another one, because yeah. So if you,
I didn't actually know you were past a million.
Yeah.
Is that a millionaire?
Well, not revenue within exactly a year, but I've crossed it in terms of like
overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's still good cash, so it's good.
Well, we're here in this penthouse in Cape Town, so I mean, you can't be doing too bad.
Yeah, doing really well, thanks. And you know, you've helped me a lot with that as well over the years. You've introduced me to some cool people. You know, I've been a part of your community. I've been able to coach people and meet a lot of copywriters and also improve my processes and learn a lot from you. So I'm really excited to have this chat. It's really cool to have you here in person.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah.
It's cool to be here. It's a very beautiful city. Thank you for your hospitality.
Of course. What do you think the number one reason that copywriters struggle to close premium clients is?
That's a good question. There are a lot of reasons that I could give you. I think most of it is just following bad, outdated, generic advice. To be frank, if I'm super honest, I think the biggest reason is most of them just have a hope and pray mentality. Most of them are just like, oh, if I get good enough at copywriting, clients will magically discover me. They'll know I exist and they'll just reach out to me and want to work with me. It's like, hate to break it to you, but unfortunately, no one knows you exist. It's pretty difficult to hire you. So copywriters, being the introverted breed they are, and I'm a super introvert by nature as well, so I can resonate. They just don't want to put themselves out there. You know, like the idea of putting out content, building a personal brand, or doing outreach is like, it's like pushing a boulder uphill. A lot of these guys. And so a lot of them just don't do anything when it comes to outreach. And then the ones who actually do put themselves out there and make an effort to get clients that way, most of them are just sending garbage DMs, to be honest. It's just copy paste. Hey, do you need a copywriter? Like, I don't know what certain gurus are teaching. Hey, you're doing much with email. Won't say who and everything, but yeah, it's probably just, it's one of those two. It's either not doing any outreach, or just bad strategy.
It's interesting because, like, at this point in 2025, there's been so much training on outreach available on the internet, and yet it's like not that good. Even though these people are copywriters, I find it very interesting that the very craft that you're supposed to be working on, which is to write stuff that gets people's attention, is the very thing that like is the reason that they're not closing clients. I always find that very fascinating. And I think a lot of people, they say they don't like outreach, but in my experience with outreach, you know, I can send, let's say 5 cold emails and probably close a client from it. At this point, it's a pretty good ratio, you know, but that's because I'm like super targeted in my approach, right? Like I'll go for 5 businesses I know are actively looking for a copywriter in the space where I can actually show my results, right? But in the early days, when you've got very little results, I can imagine it's quite difficult to get clients, which is why I'm like very curious to know how you help people with that in the early stage. Because when we started working together, I already had some results already. I had some clients. So it was a lot easier to like leverage that to get more clients. And just being intentional about closing clients was, I think, one of the reasons why I was doing really well. Because when I started working with you, like it was also an investment in myself to say, hey, I want to take freelancing seriously. Because that's when I'd left my in-house position. I was like, I want to take freelancing very seriously. I want to have someone in my corner to like encourage that, give me the accountability. But you've launched a lot of careers, like a lot of copywriters I've even worked with, they closed their first client when working with you. Like you launched them from no client to getting that first client. How do you do that when you don't have results?
It's a good question. And the first client is definitely the hardest one by
Mm.
far. It's kind of like the 4-minute mile, I think, for a lot of people, you know. So once they break that barrier, all the doors open, you know what I mean? So it's like you can
100%.
get testimonials, you get referrals, you have confidence, you have actual experience. You can use clients as case studies for outreach.
Mm-hmm.
And everything just becomes real for you. You know, it goes from this like pie in the sky, or I'm seeing other testimonials and people making money online. But until you receive, you know, literally that first $10, $100, whatever,
Mm.
that's when everything becomes real, you know? And so I was just trying to get people to focus on getting that first client as soon as possible, like just getting paid something for some work. And then you go from spectator, sitting on the grandstands, working, you know, watching everyone else make money, to actually in the game, right? And so now it's like, even if it's $100, you know, one email or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You still have something. And so then from there, you can build off it. So yeah, I mean, one of my general preferred approaches, I think if you're starting with absolutely zero proof, no case studies, no testimonials, nothing, you got to show up differently, right? So obviously you don't have any reason for anyone to really trust you, right? So you're basically just asking people to trust you at your word. And so my preferred approach is like show, don't tell, you know? So don't talk about how you're a great writer who hits deadlines, who communicates well, like whatever. Like everyone says that, no one cares, you know, no one believes it, it's just gibberish. So it's like, just show them. Like, and that's what you were saying just before. I find it kind of ironic how copywriters are amazing at selling other people's products and services, but terrible at selling themselves, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's just like, use literally the same skill that you're doing for clients to sell yourself, you know?
Yeah.
And so if you're writing cold emails, if you're sending DMs, show up differently. You know what I mean? So you got to grab their attention. It's the same, you know, freaking AIDA formula that you're doing with a VSL or something, but it's like, just apply a little bit of that same thinking and realize that a prospect, the people you're reaching out to, busy business owners, they get hundreds of these emails a day or a week or whatever, right? And so if you're just sending the same shit everyone else is sending, you're going to blend in to the sea of just mediocrity in their inbox and swipe past it. So that's the first couple of things I would say is like, one, just show up differently. So send something personalized, unique, they haven't seen before. We were talking yesterday about the email sequences, putting their face on a dollar bill, or you know, customized personal images, or you know, sending a Loom video. Go through their, I mean, my favorite way to do it, go through their funnel, sign up to the list, look at the ads, see what emails they're sending, and then find something specific that you can improve. So you could either sort of do a whole bunch of different tips, and it's like, hey, I think you could fix this, fix this, fix this. Or I just like to go deep on one thing, right? So for example, if they're landing in promotions or spam, that's like a huge needle mover that you can, with a pretty quick sort of lever, you know, pull, and you can double someone's sales from email that way, right? And so if you reach out to them with sort of these hyper-specific angles, it's personalized and you're really leading with the giving hand, right? So you're not necessarily teaching them how to fix the problem. It's more just showing them the what. So it's the what, not the how, right?
Yeah.
Give them too much how and they're like, oh, thanks.
Then I'll just give it to my team.
I'll just, let's give that to my team. Off we go. Thanks for your help, you know.
Yeah, I've done that before. I got on a call with somebody and I thought, you know, let me just solve this problem for them live. And I did. And they're like, oh, this is really, really good. And they like called their tech guy and the tech guy jumped on the phone too. And I like walking them through it. And I was like, at this point, I just knew like, you know, he's going to pass this to the tech guy.
Yeah.
That's not going to be a deal. I'm going to lose that deal. So yeah, I learned that one the hard way for sure. It's like giving them the how, then they can decide whether or not they actually need you for something. Whereas you need to get their attention first. You need to show them that there's a way that you can help them, but not necessarily, you know, give them everything all up. It's the same as emails, right? You don't give them everything in an email. They have to click the link when you're selling for clients. It's the same thing. Yeah.
I mean, it's just funnel, right? So you want to think of it as like baby stepping your way to the bank, you know?
Yeah.
And so we're talking about Sabri Subi before and how he has one of those ads that's just like, too many people are trying to get married on the first date, you know, and they're sending cold emails and it's like, they're trying to book a call straight away. They're trying to like get the client and it's like, they're trying to go from 0 to 100 in this one email. It's like, man, unless you have the most legendary proof or some insane offer, like it's too much too soon, you know what I mean? And so it's like, you got to think of it as you're just trying to get the next step. Just like in an email, subject line is just to get them to read.
Mhm.
You click, right? And then first line is just to get them to read the second line, all the way down to the call to action. That's designed to get them to click. Repeat the whole process, and then they land on the sales page, and then the headline convinces them to read the first sentence, and so on and so on, all the way through to buying. So it's kind of the same idea, right? And so it's like in your outreach messages, if you're sending DMs, emails, stop trying to get married on the first date. Like, you're just trying to think about, like, how can I show up differently? How can I provide some value to this person and create some sort of a gap
Yeah.
between where they are, where they want to go, and position myself as a solution. So just interested enough to reply. Like, that's all you're trying to do. You're just
Yeah.
trying to establish a relationship, get a reply. This person should think this guy might be able to help me.
Mm.
This seems like it might be worth my time. Let me hit him back and see what he can do. And I think when you take it that way, just like step by step,
Yeah.
inch by inch, you're just trying to get him to reply. And then from there, you try and work on maybe getting a quick 15-minute call. And then from there, you can book the proper, like, let's say 45-minute closing call. And then even if you want to take it further, like, just try and land them on a one-time project. Just get them out of spam, get them out of promotions, rewrite their landing page,
first win, yeah.
rewrite their welcome sequence, $500 project, $1,000 project. From there, you let your writing do the talking, right? And so you kind of produce results in advance. And so you can show them it's like, hey, we worked together, you paid me a little bit of money, you got a tangible result, and it's only natural that it's like, okay, now, well, you're out of spam. Do you want to actually make some money with your emails?
Yeah, right.
And then you can talk about a retainer, it's just much more fluid and I think effortless to sell it that way. It just makes a lot more sense. And a lot of people are just trying to go straight for that 2K, 3K month retainer right off the bat, where it's like, look at it from their perspective. It's like, dude, I've got no reason to trust you. I don't even know who you are. Like, how do I know you can deliver results? It's like a big commitment to just go straight in the deep end asking for a 3K month retainer unless you have the proof.
100%. I think with retainers as well, like, a lot of people focus on the retainer, which is about them, but it's not really about them. It's like, why would somebody pay you a retainer? It's because they have an ongoing problem. If you can solve an ongoing problem, you don't have to worry about whether or not they're going to pay you a retainer, because they need your copy every month. So like it's like, oh, I want to close them, I want to get them in a contract. Like, I had one client was working with one copywriter, and he's like, oh, how do I get them in this contract that's going to keep them on a retainer for 6 months? I'm like, bro, if you just get them results with email, like, they're not going to want to leave. Like, why are you trying to lock them into some sort of deal? Like, it's so focused on the income that you make. Just look at a business that actually needs help, So yeah, I think that's a really good perspective for people getting started. Like, get that first client, doesn't matter how big it is, get the momentum, don't be a spectator, you get into the game that way. Then you can go from there and you can use those results for the next deal and the next deal. Is that similar to what you did when you first got started in copy?
Pretty much, man. Yeah. So I got started, I guess, for a bit of backstory, 8 years ago. So I just dropped out of uni then. And so I was studying mechanical engineering at a university of Queensland, and that's all I've been doing for the last, like 5-10 years, like maths, physics. I thought I wanted to build rockets and all this stuff, and it's cool. So engineering was kind of the natural path. And then after a year, I was like, I don't really want to do this anymore. Did a full 180, started making music instead. I love dance music. I was like, I want to be a DJ and a music producer. And it's still what I'm doing today. It's still my career focus. But of course, what comes along with that is not much money, right?
Yeah.
So in the beginning, parents didn't want to talk to me for like a week. You're throwing your life away. Like, we paid for this private, high school education, and you had so much potential, and it's like,
oh no,
now you just want to fuck around and make music. So I was like, okay, I have to show these guys that I'm right. Like, I can do this.
Yeah, you can do this. Yeah.
That it was a mistake. And so yeah, basically that set me down the path of starting and failing a whole bunch of different businesses, side hustles, ways to make money online.
Oh, you tried other stuff too?
Oh, so much stuff.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because it's like, I didn't want to be, a broke musician working at Subway or something, right? It's just like, I go from prestigious engineering degree to, whatever, minimum wage. And so I did have a minimum wage job. I was working at a warehouse packing coffee, very glamorous.
Nice.
Had a weekend job as a wedding DJ, and I also had a third job, which is probably the worst job imaginable. I was selling cans of car wax in a parking lot. And so I found this company. It's purely commission only job.
Oh no.
I literally, they just go set up these little like tents in parking lots, malls, that sort of thing. You just have to cold approach strangers.
Like walking to their car after buying stuff.
Who are trying to actively avoid you
Yeah.
Going to their car and start a conversation, get them interested in this car wax, do a demo in the car to show them how well it cleans the car, get them back to the tent, get them to buy it.
Wow. Well, that's like full on sales.
It's a tall order, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was my first sort of experience in sales and selling stuff. I'd never really done it before. I remember the first day, that was rough. It was brutal. Like just getting told to fuck off 100 times a day, going up to strangers. Like I'm very introverted, right? And so it's
Yeah.
going up to people and talking to them, let alone trying to sell something that they don't want.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Mm.
And
Sheesh, I don't think I would enjoy it. No, that sounds awful.
getting beat up, and it's like, yeah, if it's things in a perspective, right? People are like, I don't want to send cold emails. I'm like, trust me,
Yeah, like,
that's nothing. Right?
yeah, it's not that bad.
Yeah. And at the halfway point through the day, it's like I hadn't sold anything, right? I barely made any progress. I like sat in my car and I was like started drinking wine out of the bottle. I was like, this is terrible. What am I doing? And I made one sale like in the last 10 minutes of the day.
Okay.
I sold one guy
on day one.
Yeah, one can of wax for $40. Brought home $11 in commissions after an 11-hour workday.
Holy crap!
So there from
8
a.m. until
$1 an hour.
7 a.m. until like 6 p.m. or something. Yeah.
Wow.
So basically $1 an hour.
That's
I was
rough.
like, okay. And then the leader of the team was like, hey, we think you have potential. You should come on a road trip with us. We're going to drive to some isolated village in the middle of nowhere, set up camp for a week and just hit it every day. I was like, okay, sounds great. And so we went to this tiny mining town in Queensland, 3 hours away. Same thing every day. But to be fair, like by the end of the 4th day, I had sold $750 of car wax in one day.
Yeah.
And so I think I was the second highest performing salesman in the company. And then I quit. I was like, this sucks. I'm not doing this anymore. But really good for learning sales. So anyway, coming back to your question. Yeah, basically my whole thing was like, I think it's probably a lot of reason why a lot of people get into copywriting, right? It's like, no one comes out the womb and they're like, oh, I'm so passionate about words and writing and, copywriting is something, it's like everyone falls into it somehow.
Yeah.
You know, no one's like, I want to be a copywriter when I grow up. No one even knows what it is. And so, yeah, I was like, well, if I'm going to make this music thing work, I'm going to need some sort of high-paying side hustle, right? Where I can just make the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time so I can just do music all day. That was the goal. And so that's what set me down the path of trying to make money online. And so 2017 was just a year of eating shit, basically, and starting and trying, failing, a whole bunch of different stuff. I actually started by accident with sports betting. So I started betting on the Australian Open, the tennis tournament.
Yeah.
And I just put like $5 on random players just for shits and gigs. Because I'd lost my job, actually, I think. And so I needed to make money for a month. I was like, oh, I'm just going to go gamble. That sounds like the best way to, most stable way to make money. And then I just got super lucky. Like I bet on this underdog and he beat Murray, who was the world #1 at the time.
Oh, really?
So I turned $5 into like a few hundred.
Oh, nice.
Thought I was some genius. I started betting on players. I basically just got lucky. I just like kept winning. And that was enough to make money for like a month when I didn't have a job. And from there I was like, okay, well, this internet money thing, definitely has potential. From there it was like Forex trading, drop shipping, even got involved with like a network marketing company at one point, which I did okay. And then I was on holiday in Japan. I built up 11 team members and they all left in the same week. And I was like, back to zero. It's like, oh God, okay. There's got to be something better. That's just, Forex trading, same thing. Spent months like slowly building sort of, nest egg or whatever. One bad trade, lose it all.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just kept going, starting again. I was like, man, there's got to be something which just can work, and drop shipping, tried that, which I think is a terrible business for a beginner with no skills.
Oh, it's the worst.
You better learn so many skills, right?
Yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know why it's touted as like a great business model for beginners. So I mean, copywriting is literally just one skill out of like 10 that you need to master to run a profitable e-com store. And I mean, I did make some sales, but I was spending more on ads than I was making, and I was like, this does not seem sustainable. So yeah, and eventually it was like 6 to 9 months of doing that. I even found, I saw an ad one day for a French software company that claimed that they could guess the winning spin of online roulettes within like 5 spins. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's bullshit, but it's $50. I'll give it a go. And I signed up, and this thing actually worked. I was blown away. I was sitting in class, like ignoring the lecture, spin. I was like I think I turned, €30 into like 500 in one class. And I was just like, fuck the system. I was like, I've cracked the code.
You have a future in gambling.
Yeah, I was like, I'm never going to need to work again. Infinite money glitch. Then I went to withdraw, and then the online casino accused me of cheating. So,
oh, really?
Sure. Yo, I technically was cheating. You look at the terms and conditions, bro. They don't let you withdraw it, like, for any reason. If you win, basically, they reserve the right to not let you withdraw. So I was like, okay, it's not going to work.
No.
And then enter Jason Capital in 2017. I saw him talking about copywriting, right? For the first time. It's the first time I've heard of it. And, he's like, it's a legitimate skill that businesses need. You write emails and ads and sales pages, and they make money from it. They're happy to pay you. So you make them $100,000, they're happy to pay you, 5-10 grand. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I feel like this is an actual legitimate skill. It doesn't get me just, fucking around and trying to make money, pressing buttons and losing everything. And so it was start of 2018. It's 2017. I basically paid all my money to Jason. I was like, I'm going all in, everything I've ever saved up, including my piggy bank, smashed it open, every coin. I have to borrow money from my stepdad as well, just to make the first installment of the payment plan. But I was like, all or nothing, right? I was like, I've got to make this work,
Yeah.
So I just went all in. And to be fair, I learned a really, really valuable skill. And so the program was great. Email income experts.
Oh yeah, the original one.
Yeah, the OG.
Yeah.
And I think I maybe had a natural knack for copywriting. And so Sam and Tyler, who were the coaches at the time, who are now coaches on our team, they were like, yeah, dude, did you write these emails yourself? It's like, yeah. Like, you're top 3 out of 500. I was like, whoa, I didn't think they were that special. And yeah, and so the only challenge after that was client acquisition, right?
Yeah.
You have this skill and you learned it and you're like, okay, this is great. I feel like I have so much potential, but it's like, how do I get people to pay me for this? And so we were talking about it, a couple of days ago, but none of these programs really teach that. And they're all marketed as like BizOp, make money online things.
Yeah.
But they completely skip over the part where you make the money, right? Which is getting clients.
Or it's like a little tiny bonus in the corner of the program that's like, go out there and get clients,
the
send
last
emails.
The last tiny mini module, and then like, here's a cold email script. Good luck.
There's lots of programs like that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so basically, it's like, yeah, you're on your own, and no one from the program could really get clients, right? Understandably. And so I had a thought. I was like, well, rather than sending out this terrible generic cold email pitch, I was like, what if I actually talk to them like a human, not like a robot, and reach out personally and see where specifically I can help, going through their funnel, everything I'd said before, leading with a giving hand. Like, hey, I rewrote your welcome sequence of 3 emails, install it, run it for a week. Let me know how it goes. If it performs, I'd love to chat more, about doing more for you. All I want from this is a testimonial. If you're happy with the results, I don't want any money. And just send the emails and let me know how they go, right? And so that's kind of that was my approach in the beginning. And that's how I managed to get my first few clients from that.
Nice.
And I became like a mini celebrity in the program. Everyone's like, oh my God, how are you getting clients? And I was like,
yeah, you got like a couple of pretty cool clients.
Yeah. So I worked in the beginning with there's 2 like fitness coach brands, one music label, and then like a DJ coaching sort of business or artist academy. It was just all my personal interests, which makes it really easy, right? Because
it's also what I did, by the way. Like my first client was a language client, which is, I love languages, so I think it's a really good way to start, is to go for a business that, you're a prospect or you're a consumer of. It's a good way, because you already know that market, right? So it's a lot easier to talk to them.
Yeah, it was email lists I was already on. So it's stuff I'd bought before, right? People I'd like bought from before, and I'd been on the list for a while, and it was like, I find it really easy to write emails for you because I read your emails every day,
Yeah, it's a good, easy way in.
And so I think that's a really great way to just start with the lowest hanging fruit, right? So it's like, I think everyone starts with cold outreach. And I have this diagram in CMB, right? And it's like a guy in the woods with a flashlight. It's like, imagine you were looking for something in the woods in the dark, right? That's kind of like client acquisition.
Yeah.
You wouldn't start looking the furthest away from you first. You know what I mean? Like 100 meters in the distance, you would be looking like right in front of you first, right? And then slowly a bit further out, and then a bit further out. And so my whole thing was like, well, start with the opportunities that are immediately in front of you. So if you have past clients, start there. Current clients, start there. Upsell them. You don't have any clients yet, then start with your network, right? Do you have friends who own businesses or know business owners? Email lists you're on. It's like, what's in your sort of immediate environment? Start there. And then from there, it's like you can, if you manage to just get even someone on a free trial, just try and get someone some result, some tangible result. Even you increase the open rates 20% or something. Then from there, it's like you can leverage that in your future outreach, and it just builds on each other, right? And it's like you're not swinging for the fences from the very first outreach message. It's just you're just trying to build yourself up, mini personal brand almost, right? And so it's like build the credibility.
Yeah.
And then your outreach is going to be much more effective.
That's what I did. I got that first client some results. We what do? We got like we doubled or tripled their click-through rate. And I asked them for like a video testimonial. And I got this. So I got a testimonial. I got this tripled the click-through rates. A few months later, I managed to find out that they were actually making a lot of sales from the campaign. Like they actually ended up making like $100,000 a quarter from the email sequence.
Because it's their own. Great how clients don't tell you that, isn't it?
No, right? They just don't say anything. And I had to see on the dashboard. I'm like, where are all these opt-ins and sales coming from? I was like, oh, it's from email. They like just didn't mention that.
Yeah, no, they don't tell you, bro. It's like,
yeah. So I was like, okay, so then that's cool. So I used that stuff, and then the next client's easy. So yeah, very, very similar experience. Like you've got to get that very first client. But what I really like about what you just shared is there's a lot of people that will like talk about copywriting from a place where they see it as an opportunity to just make biz up. And like you did come from a place where you wanted to make money, but like you actually lived it, like you started helping people because of what was working for you.
Yeah.
Instead of just helping people from this place of like, hey, here's an opportunity to make money to sell to a market. Like you were actually a copywriter making money, and then people asking you how to do it. And I think that's quite good because there's a lot of gurus that aren't like that. So I like that. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely some charlatans in the industry.
Yeah, you'll be careful because there's a lot of these guys these days that will like charge a lot of money and not really give you that much, to actually help you. So like if you're getting started, you need to pick a good coach. You've hired a lot of people yourself as a like I mean you went like all in with your first payment plan with Jason.
Yeah.
I know you worked with Taki. And you work with a lot of other, like you've spent quite a lot of coaching over the years.
Yeah, easily multiple six figures on courses, coaches, mentorships. I still believe it's the greatest investment you can make, in terms of if you think of like what's going to get you the highest return, especially in the beginning when you don't have a lot of money. It's like, okay, you put it in the S&P 500 and get like 10% a year, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah.
And then double your money in like 10 years. Or upgrade your skill set. Like the fastest way to make more money is just learn more high income skills, get better at craft, go all in on getting really good at something that people will pay a lot of money for, and just increase your earning, potential 10x, right? It's like you can only save so much money, right? But there's unlimited upsides how much money you can make.
Yeah.
So I've never been a big believer in saving money really, because I'm just want to reinvest, improve my earning potential, and that's gonna do 100 times more than saving some pennies here and there, skipping my morning coffee. I was like, bro, I'm going to drink that morning coffee. I'm going to power through and get shit done and get clients and, increase my skills and make more. So yeah, I've been a huge proponent on investing in yourself, a huge advocate, should I say, because it's just what I've done my whole life. And it's like, I can stand behind it with so much conviction because it's like when I was doing all these other side hustles before, I was just pissing into the wind. I was trying to do it myself and having no success and just having no idea what I'm doing. Right. And it's just like, for the first time, I was like, man, that's when I had the realization. I was like, instead of just trying to go at this alone, why don't I just pay someone who actually has figured it out and has already done all the trial and error and the shit eating period, and they can just tell me what to do and what to not do, and I'll just get there 10 times faster.
Yeah.
Right. So you're just buying time. You're buying speed.
100%. Yeah. Like for me as well. Like when I look at buying assets and investing and stuff, because now at this point, I've made a little bit more money and
it's different.
got some
Once
cash.
you have money, it's
but I mean, even still now, like I got cash and it's like, all right, if I buy a property, so I bought a property recently, and it's like the numbers you get 5-6% a year, maybe. But like so you still have to make the investment yourself. It's still you that actually buys the property. So even if I make that 6% per year, it's not the property that's really making that money. It's me finding that deal that pays that return as well. So like every single time I've ever thought of like making money from investments or from work or from a business, it's like, it's always coming from me. So why not just invest in me?
Yeah.
Just invest in myself from the beginning, right? It's like
Yeah.
6% in this other thing, or invest in myself to be a smarter, better investor. I might find a big deal that's worth 10%, but it's not the real estate that makes the money. It's me finding the deal that makes the 10%, you know? So like that perspective, once I realized that maybe 3-4 years ago, actually probably before that as well, because I was always investing. Like I've also spent over 6 figures in coaching at this point, you know, and I just always come back to like the ROI for investing in yourself is 100,000, like every dollar you're ever going to make comes from you.
Yep.
So why wouldn't you invest in that person first? That's the highest return ever. And like, even if you don't get a immediate return from an investment, you like learn a lot from it as well, and you can like improve and stuff. So
Yeah, it compounds.
yeah, it
each
compounds.
other.
You just get better and better and better. So like every single time I've invested, yeah, I've just found like my earning potential keeps going up. So for me, what I look for in coaching is I look for somebody that's a little bit more direct, a little bit more, you know, close to me, because there's a lot of coaches that just have like products that they sell that there's no connection with. What's your process for finding someone to like, how do you usually find people to learn from that you invest in?
My answer is I basically just buy everything.
Okay.
But honestly, since as long as I can remember, like as soon as when I had my first job when I was like 15, earning $11 an hour, I invested all of that into courses.
Really?
Yeah.
So you've always just
From
bought
like a teenager.
Hmm.
You know, whether it was fitness, like I found a jacked guy and I was like, he had a course on how to get jacked. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna stand a higher chance of getting jacked with this information than by myself. So whether it was fitness, whether it was like dating, whether it was like personal development, mindset, making money online, like whatever, that's always my thought process. Just find someone good and just pay to learn from them, whatever you can. You know, I've gone to zero many times where I've just invested everything I have back to zero, and it's the skill that will keep paying you for life, right? It's me, right? So I've made it back obviously many times over. But yeah, so in terms of like, I guess what I look for, I'm definitely easier to sell to than probably most people. If I see something I want, I'll just buy it. So pretty much if you manage to book a call with me, I'm buying, you know.
Interesting.
I'm just that person. So
That's cool. I think it's a good perspective though. I think so, because you need to be a good buyer to also be able to sell stuff and like go through that process.
But yeah, at the same time, you do want to have some level of due diligence as well. It's important. So yeah, I mean, I think to me, the most important things are like, what is the person's results? And then what is their client results?
You know, by client results, you mean like how well the client's performing based on what they've...
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I had to choose the most important thing, I would just say client results. So there's definitely something to be said for someone who's a coach who's never done it themselves. But if for whatever reason they are capable of producing that result in other people, I think that's more important, right? Because let's say you have a basketball player who's, you know, a Michael Jordan or something, who's just a genetic talented freak, obviously works super hard as well.
Sure.
But it's just like naturally really good at basketball. And so for me personally, I'm like, okay, well, would I rather learn from him, who he might not even know how to translate that skill into other people because it just comes effortlessly for him, right? Versus someone who, let's say like John Wooden, who's a legendary basketball coach in the US, helps a lot of teams win big championships. He's not a basketball player, he's a coach, you know?
Yeah.
But he just produces championship winning teams because he knows how to coach them, right? So it's like, I'd rather learn from that guy, if I'm honest, if I had to choose. Because it's like he's capable of producing that result in other people and duplicating it
Yeah, I agree.
systematically, right? Where it's like someone can come in new and they come out good. And so it's like he's got a process. It's proven and it works. So that's probably the most important thing that I look for, yeah.
I think we've both got students that have outperformed our own results as copywriters. Like I've got a couple of people that have closed some seriously big clients, created some serious cash, serious results. And I'm just like, damn, that's impressive. Like, you need to teach me what you just did there, you know? But yeah, like I think the process of being able to coach people is different from the actual craft. You know, being able to see where somebody's strengths are. Sometimes people have blind spots, you know, like I've seen, like, for example, with referrals, you know, because I will often show people how to get more referrals, and I'll tell them, like, you know, you're not actively showing your client that you're getting them results. You're just doing it behind the scenes. You're not actually like telling the client what results you got. So they don't know if you're winning for them or not. Like, they just know that you're part of the team. Why don't you show, oh, that's a really great idea. I never thought of that. Then they do that for like 2 weeks and the client's like, wow, this is amazing work. What, like, I appreciate it. Okay, cool. Ask for a testimonial now. And then they ask, it's like, got a client, it's like, well, do I have to be doing that every single day in order to be able to tell somebody to do that? No, not necessarily, like, yeah, you'll be able to see that stuff. And I think being a coach, one of the things obviously that, you've got, I think a lot of people, if you're watching this and you're thinking like, should I get investing, should I invest with Sean and like learn from you? Is like, you've seen hundreds of copywriters try every strategy to get clients, like literally every strategy. So like being able to see all those strategies gives you a very detailed perspective of like what actually works and how to actually stand out. And so I think that that's another thing when I look for a coach. I look for somebody that has like a massive data set. So like Taki, for example, he knows what works for coaches because he's got such a massive data set to pull from. So like, okay, he's also coaching. So maybe it's not the exact same example, but because he's got such a massive data set, he can actually see what's working. Like for me, I'm not actively writing for as many copywriting clients as I used to. Yeah, I'm doing a lot more coaching, but I find like I'm actually better as a coach right now than when I was like writing half of my time with copy and half of my time with coaching. Because now I have so much more time I'm investing into seeing like the data between copywriters. So that's my perspective as well. I'm like finding a good coach. I want them to have a very big data set that they can pull from.
Yeah, that's a super good point. And it's really true. Like we have 800 copywriters, I think, at this point that I've worked with over the last 7 years. And part of the deal with the program is like report your wins, like don't be shy. If you get a client, shout out, let everyone celebrate it, but also show us how you did it. So everyone's doing that, right? And it's like, we're now all learning from everyone. So it's like, think about the amount of breakthroughs you would have in 1 year, maybe 1 or 2. But if 800 people have 1 or 2 breakthroughs, that's, multiple breakthroughs a day on average, right?
That's crazy.
So it's like you can learn 800 times faster. We all level up, way faster because we're all learning from each other and seeing what's working in real time. And then it's like, okay, these people all got clients this way. This is clearly working really well right now.
Let's all do that.
Let's all do this.
Yes. Yeah. I'm 100% with you on that one. That's where I think that's the superpower of having like a good community, a good group of people that you're working with. It's like everybody's figuring out stuff all at the same time. To me, that's like been the unfair advantage I think my clients have had with me as well. Is like they'll come up with like an email sequence that just completely destroys, and it's like it's a different angle than what people in the industry are doing. Then they'll share it with everybody else in the dojo, and then everyone will kind of like come up with a slight variation of it's like their own post, and they'll crush it. And it's like, how did you do that? It's like, well, we're just all working on stuff, and when someone cracks it, we all go that way. So it's pretty cool that it's possible to do that with client getting. So if people want to learn more from you and follow you and learn your secrets, where can they find you?
Buy my course.
$997. $997.
Yeah. All the upsells. No, I'm Sean Ferres on Instagram. I think my YouTube is probably a really good place to start. I've got tons
You've got a lot of
trainings
videos
on
there.
that I've been posting over the last few years. I basically just give all my source away on YouTube. So my whole thing is like, give away the information, sell the implementation. And so it's like, you could honestly learn how to get from 0 to 10K a month. Like, I got a free course on YouTube, just go through that. And then if you actually are serious, for the 1% of people who are actually like, I want to do this properly and make some serious money, then yeah, of course we have a coaching program as well. Matt is one of our coaches in our program. He has it. He's kind of a good writer. So yeah, I mean, obviously if you want to take the next step, feel free to hit me up on Instagram, but yeah, YouTube's probably a great place to start.
Well, thanks so much, I really, really appreciate you coming on here and sharing all the secrets.
Thank you for having us.
Really great to see you in person. And check out part 2 on Sean's channel, because we also have a video on that channel where I'm going to share some stuff as well.
Matt spills the sauce. You want to check it out.
Yeah, check it out. Okay, cool. Chat soon, man.
Nice.